This was the early 80s, and so the children that were coming through from the Pennington hostel to Pennington School, and Pennington School is right next door to Pennington Hostel, so that was their first port of call. They were mostly Cambodian children and Vietnamese children. There were Chilean children, Polish, some Bosnian, and some Baha'i children. The drawings happened, I think it might have been the second week into my time there. I was very naive. I'd been working with the State Opera Youth Company. There was a youth company at the time, so very middle class, white children. And I was just going to say that there was no experience of teaching these children because the group that I was working in the New Arrivals program, but I was working with the literacy group, who were children who had had no formal experience of schooling. So they might have been 12, 13, they might not know how to hold a pencil, didn't know how to read in their own language. They'd been basically running away, from conflict. So that's the group that I had. There was another group with children who were literate and they were also refugees, but I had the ones who were not only refugees but couldn't read or write very well. So it was quite a challenging thing. You didn't have, they couldn't speak English and also they couldn't read or write in their own language, but they certainly could draw. So I thought a great idea would be to actually ask them to draw what they remembered of their homelands. And very naively I asked them this, and they drew these pictures, and some of them are quite horrific, not all of them are in the display, but they started telling me about it. So, one boy was telling me about how he watched his father be bayoneted and then strung up, his mother being bashed over the head, another boy, how they hid in cupboards, how they ran through the jungle. So it was quite an emotional thing for me. I remember having to excuse myself and leave the classroom because I got quite emotional. And I'd read about all of this. I knew about what happened in Cambodia. I knew about the Vietnam War. I knew what had happened in Chile. I'd been campaigning about Chile, but somehow being confronted, with these drawings and these stories told by these little children was quite affecting.